Hi, pre-algebra students. This is Chapter 2, our first section in Chapter 2, where we're going to review integers and absolute value. I have highlighted here integers. Integers are all of your whole numbers, like those you would find on a number line, the positive and the negative whole numbers. Two integers can be compared, and when we compare them, we use an inequality sign. One's greater than or less than, and sometimes they are also equal. So as we dive into Chapter 2, we're going to review and make sure that you can recognize those words that would indicate a negative. So if it's 16 feet below the surface, it's a negative 16, or over par means you add 5 or a positive 5. Alright, we're going to do a lot with number lines during these first few sections, just to help you think about integers and how they work. This next example problem is asking us to replace the dot with greater than or less than. The farther a number is to the right, and have that underlined down here, the farther it is to the right, the greater, well, keeps erasing, the greater the number. So if we're talking about negative numbers, if it's less negative, it's going to have a greater value. So negative 2 is to the right of negative 6, so negative 2 is greater than. So the little alligator wants to eat the bigger number. Then we also have 3 compared to negative 4. Well, obviously 3 is to the right of negative 4, so again the alligator eats the bigger number. I like to think about money when we're talking about positive and negative. I would rather have positive dollars than negative dollars, so think money. Alright, I asked you to already work through these problems, so just quickly take a second to check your work. You can pause right here and check your work. I have highlighted number 7 and 14. I want to work those with you. Which is greater, negative 7 or negative 5? Again, I'd rather owe someone $5 than to owe someone $7. On a number line, negative 5 is to the right of negative 7. 14, they're trying to trip us up. They didn't give us equal to up at the top, but I wrote it in. Negative 6 is equal to negative 6, so an equal sign is an option. So 14, they should be equal. Alright, moving on over to the next page where we talk about absolute value. What is absolute value? It's how far a number is from 0. Numbers on the opposite side of 0 are the same distance from 0. That's their absolute value. This is my definition in my words. So, negative 4, how many units away from 0 is negative 4? It's 4 units. So what's the absolute value of negative 4? 4. So sometimes we have to do an operation with absolute value. So the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. The absolute value of 6 is 6. So now we're going to add those. The absolute value symbols are treated like parentheses. You do everything inside the absolute value, then you're able to perform the operation. And our final answer there, of course, was 9. So sometimes we have to replace an x with a value. So here, the absolute value of x minus 7, where x is negative 8. So they substituted negative 8 in for x. The absolute value of negative 8 was positive 8. And now we're ready to subtract 7 and get the final answer, 1. So again, check your work down below. Pause and check. And I'm going to work 2 of them with you. Alright, number 7. The absolute value of negative 10 is positive 10. Minus the absolute value of negative 6 is positive 6. Now I'm ready to just perform 10 minus 6, which leaves us with 4. Number 11 gets a little more complicated. We have to substitute. We're going to use substitution. What was x? Here it is. X is 8. What was y? Y is negative 3. So 2 times the absolute value of 8 means 2 times 8. Plus 3 times the absolute value of negative 3, which is 3. Alright, so 2 times 8 is 16, plus 3 times 3, which is 9, which leaves our final answer to be 25. Can you feel it? I can feel it. Y'all have a super awesome, happy day.